creeps, happy Halloween and welcome back to my little catacombs of creepiness and my cemetery of screams. My name is Purgatory, the Queen of Samhain, and here in my catacombs we talk all things horror, big or small, with both the living and the dead. So, if that's something that piques your interest, then be sure to smash the like button down below and give me a subscribe for a lot more spooky goodness. Be sure to also follow me on all social media platforms at purgatorihorror. Real easy to find, just the same username everywhere. We are officially finished with week 3 of my 61 Days of Halloween event, so if you would have a seat on the nearest tombstone, grab a skull full of popcorn, and enjoy the fun little recap of Supernatural Week. I watched a lot of fun supernatural / demonic horror films this week, which is one of my favorite subgenres of horror. I wish I could have fit more in, but I think I got a decent amount in that I wanted to. The question is, what are some of the scariest supernatural horror films? Well, in this video, I'm going to be listing what I think, in my personal opinion, are some of the most terrifying supernatural horror films of all time. But before we get into that, let's recap some of the films I included in this past week for Supernatural Week. And we tried to choose the best of the best, including some films that don't really get a ton of love. This past week we watched 13 Ghosts, 1960, House on Haunted Hill, 1959, Willy's Wonderland, 2021, The Fog, 1980, The Exorcist, 1973, The Exorcist 3, 1990, The Omen, 1976, The Conjuring, 2013, The Black Phone, 2021, Candyman, 1992, The Candyman Requel from 2021, and last but not least, the Amityville Horror 2005 remake. So yeah, we watched a lot of fun stuff and included a few underrated, underappreciated ones to show some love as well. We've recapped, let's get into the overall topic of this week's video. Scariest supernatural horror films ever released, in my personal opinion. Keep in mind, this is just my own personal opinion, so I'm not saying it's a fact. Art is very subjective, and obviously different people find different things terrifying, but this is what I found terrifying. Some of the films I'm going to list weren't in the 61 Days of Halloween event, and I couldn't fit them in, unfortunately, but some were. So, let's get started, creeps. Ringu, 1998, and its American remake, The Ring, 2002. I am listing both of these films because I love both and I happen to find both utterly terrifying. The Japanese version and American versions are slightly different in some aspects, but for me the scare factor is still present. Imagine if you found a VHS tape that had a bunch of weird ass imagery on it. Then, after watching it, you get a phone call from a little girl telling you that you will die in 7 days. You may not believe it at first, but then when weird shit starts happening to you, and then upon those final moments, on the 7th day, your TV turns on by itself, revealing a black and white well and a little girl with long black hair crawling out of it. Then proceeds to crawl out of your TV screen and suck your soul out of your face. I think that's how it happens. Pure fucking nightmare fuel. Both Ringu and The Ring are terrifying films. A lot of people find Ringu scarier, but to me they are absolutely equally terrifying. Exorcist, 1973. This is just a given for me. I still find this movie utterly terrifying after all these years. I first watched this film at my sister's house when I was 8 years old, and it scared the hell out of me. But at the same time, I also fell completely in love with it and ended up wearing the VHS copy out that I borrowed from my sister. Well, I guess stole, not borrowed. What makes this film scary for me is the atmosphere, the music, And Linda Blair, holy shit, she was terrifying. The things she said, that voice, the things she did, especially the crucifix scene, if you know, you know. It was scary as hell. At least to me anyway, and you know what? I still find it scary. I don't care what anybody says. The Evil Dead, 1981. This one is scary to me for so many different reasons. The concept alone of reading from a book and being possessed by violent demons / deadites is terrifying. And for me, that's not even the scariest part. The scariest part for me with The Evil Dead is the fact that this is one time where an exorcism will not save you. The ways your soul can be set free, the only way, is through body dismemberment. So death, basically. In a nutshell, in this universe, if you're possessed by a deadite, you are completely fucked. There is no helping you. The Conjuring, 2013. When I first watched The Conjuring 2013, I had no idea that it freaked me out as much as I did. By this point, I was used to ghost movies, but this one was different for a number of reasons. This movie has one of the freakiest possession scenes since the original Exorcist. It's got subtle jump scares that work really well, and the great thing about The Conjuring is the fact that they didn't just rely on jump scares. The music itself makes the atmosphere scary as hell and just eerie. The scariest thing about this movie to me, though, is the fact that I researched the actual case the film was based on. Like, I went down a huge rabbit hole and it freaked me the fuck out. And if you guys ever want me to do a video talking about the actual case of the Conjuring film, the spooky season, let me know in the comments below. That's something I'm definitely willing to do and very interested in. Candyman, 1992. Oh my god, you guys. Candyman 1992 is so worthy of being number one for me as the scariest supernatural horror film, and I'm going to tell you why. Think about the legend of Candyman. Very similar to the legend of Bloody Mary, right? You say a certain name in the mirror a certain number of times, and then they come and kill you. Yeah, imagine saying Candyman's name 5 times in the mirror and having a big scary dude with a hook for a hand come out and slice you to itty bits. But that's not why I think this is probably the scariest supernatural horror film. But I'm about to explain why. When main character Helen decides to study Cabrini Green, which is affordable housing in the bad part of town, along with the legend of Candyman, because he happened to be a popular subject of discussion around those parts, she decides, as a joke with her friend, to say his name in the mirror 5 times to summon him. And you'd think he'd just kill her, right? Wrong. He torments her. He drives her crazy. He murders the people around her and even goes on to make it look like she committed those murders. Like, he actually places the evidence all around her and makes her look like she blacked out, went crazy, and killed these people. He did all of this to lure her to him because he developed an obsession. It's bad enough that her douchebag husband, if you've seen the movie, you know why I say that, was cheating on her with one of his college students, but to add all of this to the mix, if you don't think that's scary and frustrating, just imagine summoning Candyman and he does the same thing to you. Kills the people around you, even kidnaps a baby and makes people think that you're a murderer and a kidnapper. There's nothing you'd be able to do to prove your innocence in this case because, sadly, Candyman will make sure of that. That's scary to me. Helen's situation was completely terrifying. Well, anyways, creeps, that just about concludes this video and topic of discussion. Be sure to give me a like and subscribe. Hit the little bell notification so you never miss any of my uploads. Be sure to follow me on all social media platforms at Purgatory Horror. And if you're interested in either donating to the channel or just supporting it in general, I do have a Patreon page and I'll link that in the description below. I would also like to thank all of my current patrons for all of your love, kindness, support, and I am changing some things up on there, but it'll still be worth it. I just want you all to know how incredibly grateful I am because I couldn't do this without you guys. Anyways, thank you guys so much. I love you. So long and pleasant screams.